Today we're going to use some more factoring using distributed, and we're going to apply it using the zero product property. So if you have two things being multiplied together and they equal 0, what does that tell you about one of the things? Well, one of them must be 0. So either A equals 0 or B equals 0. So we're going to use that to start solving some equations. So if I know that quantity D minus 5 times the quantity D plus 4 equals 0, that tells me either D minus 5 equals 0 or D plus 4 equals 0. Well, if I go through and solve each one of these equations, in the first one I would add 5 to each side, I get D equal 5. Or over here I'm going to subtract 4, I get D equal negative 4. So these would be the two answers that I would get solving that. So pretty basic there on that one. Okay, this first one is already factored, so again I'm going to set each factor. It has to be set equal to 0, so that's what you want to check for first. So x minus 2 equals 0. Or 4x minus 1 equals 0. So from this first one I'm going to get add 2, I get 2, and sometimes if you can do this in your head, fine. If you can't, you need to write out steps, but I'm going to add 1 to each side. That would give me 4x equal 1, then I'd have to divide by 4 and get x equal 1/4. So 2 or 1/4 would both work. And again, if you put them back in, when you put the 2 in, 2 minus 2 is 0. 0 times whatever this is, 2 times 4 is 8, minus 1 is 7. You're still going to get 0. When you put the 1/4 in, it's going to give you 0 on this side. So what's different about this one, it's not set equal to 0. So I need to subtract 7x from each side first to get it set equal to 0. Whoops, sorry, shouldn't be an equal sign. It should be a minus, 7x. Now it is set equal to 0, but it's not factored. So going through the steps of factoring that we learned, I'm going to factor out an x, leaving me x minus 7 equals 0. So now I do the steps like in number 2, set each factor equal to 0. So x equals 0, or x minus 7 equals 0. So I'm going to get x equals 0 from the first one and add 7, positive 7. So those would be my two answers for that. And in this problem, again, it's not set equal to 0. I like to keep my m squareds positive, or my biggest power positive, so I'm going to subtract 5m from each side and get 3m squared minus 5m. That way I won't have to deal with negative signs. You can deal either way. But so what do they have in common? They have an m in common here. So I'm going to factor the m out, leaving me 3m minus 5. So if I set each one of these equal to 0, or 3m minus 5 equals 0. When I solve, I'm going to get m equals 0, and then here I add 5 and divide by 3. I'm going to get 5/3. So that would be my answer. So that's the zero product property that we are using now.